Well,
take it away.
Very lovely to meet you all. My name's Christopher. I'm part of a cultural platform called deadHYPE. There we go. This picture was taken in Hollywood, in LA, and that was a very interesting time. My partner has vertigo, so when I was driving up in our convertible Mustang, he was burying himself deep into the chair because he was terrified. So it made for a very interesting trip, but the photo was worth it. So, deadHYPE. deadHYPE is, it was born out of a necessity for myself and for my colleagues to simply just create. Just create whatever it is that we felt was really important to us, and across any discipline, there was no limitation. It was established in late 2014, so we were quite young, in the city of Amsterdam, between myself, my partner Bernard, who is from London, of Ghanaian origin, and the designer, who is Rasmus, who is of Korean, Swedish origin. I myself am from England, but my origin is Polish and Gibraltarian. Maybe you know where Gibraltar is, maybe. So basically we naturally gravitated towards one another because we were extremely interested by crossing cultures with especially with the art forms that we like to engage in. And it was just us coming together and just wanting to be foolish, just not really thinking too much about what was the convention. And what I would like to do is show you a very, about a 3-minute film of a crash course in everything we've done thus far. I don't know how the volume's going to be on this.
Me neither.
So,
everybody
be prepared, okay?
Glass of the couch.
I think we're going to have to turn it up.
Hey, what's up? This is Latex, and you're listening to deadHYPE Radio. You wanna know how deadHYPE mash up the set? Great look off the thing next door.
Got the few homies all the way from motherfucking Amsterdam. deadHYPE Radio, hold up.
Cause I don't know your face from soul food. Nah, that's not zone 2. Cause I don't know your face from soul food.
for you. This is literally just the portfolio of all the things that we've been doing for the past year, just over a year. So first and foremost, the way we like to define ourselves is a 21st century subcultural platform. For us, it's really about documenting contemporary history of internet generations. And when I say internet generations, it's very self-evident that there are more than one generation that has been exposed to this. So it's not like we're just talking about Generation X or whatever. You know, it's really quite broad. So, you know, you transcend a lot of different age groups. There are a lot of different processes and societal attitudes and values that go with that. You know, these people are inspired by anything, you know, through their culture. And this is something that we really want to do through our cultural platform, which is an online platform mostly, and just capturing these moments in history and speaking to people like that, the interested participants. So it's really, everything we do and everything you saw there is really a projection of our own culture, the things that we see in our day-to-day that we just try and galvanize to because they're interesting to us. There's something about them. They can be peculiar, they can be humorous, they can be absurd, they can be very, very engaging. They can draw all kinds of emotions out of you. But this is the most important thing is that we have something that everybody can own, and that's culture for us. It's an open source and, you know, an open book that anybody can access, and this is something that we're trying to relay through what we do. So content creation for worldwide access. So what we like to do is move freely through the world. You know, it's any kind of city. It's not based on simply Amsterdam, though the topic of conversation today is, of course, is how we were founded in Amsterdam and, you know, how that inspired us. And actually the irony there is that I'll speak a little bit about Amsterdam a little bit later, but, you know, we weren't bound to any particular cultural entity. You know, there was no prejudice there, but at the same time, there was nothing holding us back. So, you know, much like ourselves, we wanted to give a very multinational representation to our target audience and our followers, which at the present moment, you know, we've been moving throughout the world, moving from Amsterdam to London, to Paris, to Berlin, to Milan, to different spots in Portugal, to America, to Seoul in South Korea. You know, and one of the important elements you can see is music for us. It's extremely important. Oh, yeah. Yes, sir.
Honestly, I don't know what you're talking about. Do you make films? Do you make music? Do you go to parties? Do you?
Yeah, we do everything.
What do you actually do?
Right
like,
now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't mean to interrupt.
Okay.
Like I was listening. I was like, I don't know.
That's
I don't know
okay.
what you're talking about.
Yeah,
so.
sure. Very simply, I can put it. There's no limit. We just create. We're just creating anything through the different multimedia platforms that we choose, whether that's music, whether that's art, whether that's fashion, whether that's design, whether that's dance, whether that's whatever, essentially. And we want to project that. And that's what we use our online platform for. That's all the content that you've just witnessed is everything that just came from our platform. So this is something that we create for our activations, for brands we work with, through different people we engage with. Essentially, think of it like television. Music television is a really good way to put it. Everyone remembers MTV. I guess that's a very simple way for you just to justify what this means to you and what this can then mean to other people. Is that okay?
So what I understand is you have a website with film, video, music,
Everything.
whatever you like to put on there,
Yes.
and you just show.
Whatever we want.
I can just look at it,
You
basically.
can.
Okay, this is very helpful.
Yeah, sure. No.
Okay.
I was going to get to that, but I like your moxie. That's really good. So, one way, like I was saying, that we want to portray our stuff is, we choose to document a lot through music and through our films. And this means, that we can go out into the world and document what we want. Now, actually, I went to Seoul in June of this year to start a documentary series called Road Wave, which looks into the emerging worlds of underground music culture. And it's not about going to a city like Berlin or New York, where it's extremely, well established. It's about going to a place that is still coming through. And the thing that interested me about Seoul was that it was set against this very hyper-consumptive K-pop industry where fans don't really have so much of an interest in music. It's more about the portrayal, the image of the participant, of the idol. Idol culture out there is insane. Like, it's actually out of this world. So I'm going to show you the teaser that we had for that.
majority of Korean people can't understand what we're doing at the moment.
And here, the UK and Miami, and Detroit. Yeah. Sure, you know? You have a very
If you were going to kind of encapsulate Korea's sort of sound, like, I would say everything is raw.
We are focused on for the worldwide, and then we influence about the world. Like it happens in South Korea underground, but we make it Korea underground.
Top of your work, Scott, and we'll take this opportunity to congratulate you, Atlantis, as well as the thousands of passionate individuals across this great spacefaring nation.
So like I was saying, we are curating culture through from any and every different art form. There's simply no limits, no restrictions, no boundaries. So for us, the idea of having too many guidelines or rules is just subject to failure because you're setting yourself up to just disappoint yourself. And the expectation is simply just to keep going. And I think this synergy that exists between the way we choose to express ourselves that really remains important to us. So like I say, music, art, dance, fashion, design, food, film, food and beverage. We've making our own alcohol. It's absurd. But this is something that really speaks to us. And the idea there is that we are living our own culture and documenting it. So essentially, this is the base for everything we do. You know, we have so much access as a collective of people to creative software, to creative hardware, and there's really never been a point in history where, you know, industries have blurred so much as they do today. So it's really not about us, you know, about people wanting to become us or trying to gain ownership of anything. It's really about following, getting involved, sharing the content, coming to the events, and I think the most important thing is it really comes down to an idea of identity. So that exists, you know, by people interpreting what they have. We actually played Boiler Room on Saturday, just gone in Berlin, and we created these tees, and it's a direct parody of MTV, and the idea is like, you know, it's a adaptation for the purposes of expressing who we are. You know, what we believe in and what we want to communicate. You know, it's the same as the punks and the rockers. You know, they took something they cared about so passionately, which was the music, and they reformed it into their own stylistic expression, into like this unique clothing that they had, you know, heavily customized as to reflect their, you know, who they were. So for us, it's the same with any merchandise or any film that we make. You know, it's really not us trying to force it onto others, but, you know, we do certain kinds of things, and anyone can do this. And it's really just trying to set a bar where I think this is something that we will continue to do in the future, and it's really important that we look out of the city of Amsterdam, which comes me to my next topic, the city of Amsterdam, my final topic. I think Amsterdam is a fascinating place. It's full of foreign influences, you know, and people really try to merge with one another in every different capacity, whether that's commercially, whether that's romantically, it doesn't matter. But therein lies a bit of a problem. A challenge is this sense of identity. And, you know, they have very well-established music scenes. I'm going to speak exclusively about the music scene as opposed to the art scene, where my expertise, you know, I don't want to say something that perhaps I may not know fully about. So the music scene is something I feel very comfortable with, and I think it's really small. Amsterdam's tiny. Massive projection to the world, but, you know, people can become very insular and protective of what they've created. And I think that it's good to protect your work because there's a lot of people trying to appropriate what you do. They're lacking maybe the creativity to think about this in the first place, but we want to try and remain open source. This is why we don't really care. We take from other things and we put out. But at the same time, it's extremely important to create and collaborate. And I think this is the challenge for Amsterdam in the music scene in the future, is that, you know, we need to break down barriers that really do exist between different institutions, different people who potentially might feel intimidated by another. And I'm speaking from experience here, because, you know, we try and project as widely as we can, but at the same time, you know, there is a lot of hostility that can be felt because, you know, you're trying to do something, maybe people don't understand it, maybe people, you know, they wish they thought of that idea. Personally, for deadHYPE, we're extremely open. We're open to collaboration with anybody. Our website, by the way, is deadHYPE.com. And you can find all our information on there. I don't need to tell you about my Instagram and all that stuff. deadHYPE.com is the place to go. And I think that for the future, I think Amsterdam is one of our ports. Much like the history of the city, it's going to be a port that we communicate to the world with. So, thank you very much.